Brittney Jackson has been with the Donna Howell Show from the beginning. I wanted to sit down with her one more time and get a chance to let everybody know exciting things that are coming for her and the future of the Donna Howell Show. We've got a couple of different updates, new things that we're doing, exciting things that we're doing, but mostly I want to give the platform to Brittney so that she can get all of the prayer from y'all that she needs for this coming journey. Brittney, thanks for being on the Donna Howell Show again.
It's good to be here.
What's funny is that it's like you're not a guest. It's just that we kind of got pelted with a whole bunch of scholars all in a row. And so people haven't seen you for a while.
Well, and what's funny is they don't know I've still been here just behind the camera.
No, that's true. Like when I say that Brittney has been there from the beginning of the Donna Howell Show, like this was back even before Tom died.
Right.
And you have been the one of the main people pulling every lever behind all of this. So a lot of people are probably assuming that I'm just, that I've always been this comfortable on camera. That's not true. If you rewind back to the beginning, you will hear me so many times, not just on this show, but on every other platform that I've been allowed to say it. I don't like being filmed. I don't like my face being out there. I don't like being in the public eye. I don't want to be a guest speaker. We even did our testimonies. That one episode, we did our testimonies about how I said I do not want to be a speaker. I was never comfortable. I'm finally kind of sorting to get there, but I have a feeling that something about this camera I've bought for my home studio is going to help a lot. I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. But I had said all that to say I really feel like behind the scenes, there has always been one or two people that have been kind of helping me figure out how am I coming across wrong? What am I doing that's clumsy? How do I get comfortable in my own flesh on this set so that I can accomplish this show that, that a lot of people have been looking forward to. I'm so grateful, Brittney, the things that you have done. It's not, man, this is not just lip service. Like this goes so deep and the world out there will never even know how deep. But I have so much gratitude because there was so much knowledge that you brought to the table. Your ability to stand there and go, okay, stop. You just said the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Start over. Or your ability to sit there and go, wait a minute. If you say that, the YouTube crowd's going to think this, blah, blah, blah. And so there's been a little bit of an education that I've received from you. And I'm not sure where you got it, except for the fact that you're a teacher, no?
So a lot of people don't know this. I think we might have discussed it on a few shows before, but I actually have a bachelor's degree in education for history for secondary education, so middle to high school age range. And I have a master's degree in education as well. And that's kind of more for creating curriculum and like lesson planning things. And I'm also still currently getting my master's in history. And I think whenever we had started the show, I had just started that, or I was just getting ready to start that. And so I've been working on that behind the scenes. I am studying basically the Reformation era, 1200 to like the late 1600s is like my niche. And I'm writing a thesis on the English Reformation, which a lot of people aren't aware of how the Church of England came to be. It's kind of a really funny story. Basically, a king wanted to divorce his wife and marry a younger woman. And so there is the Church of England's birth. And so that's kind of like my background. And throughout working at Skywatch and, working with Donna, I took a short break for a few months where I had to go do my student teaching for my degree. At the end of my degree, I had to go basically do an unpaid internship at a school, and it was really great. And I wanted to get my master's and then go back and be, a full-time teacher. And so I'm kind of at that point now where it's time. I feel like I'm ready. I'm a little bit older. I started college a little bit younger, so it was hard. I was a sub for a few years, and you're only like 3 years older than the kids that you're trying to tell what to do. And they're like, you're like as old as my sister, I don't respect you. So now I feel like I have a little maturity behind me and like confidence to go into the classroom and do the best that I can. And so, I will be leaving Skywatch and all of this. I mean, you guys are still my family, so it's not like
literally
we're never going to see each other anymore.
Yeah, literally family. You're married in.
Yeah, and so this August, I'll be starting a middle school history teaching position.
I love that you're going to go live your dream. I hate that we're losing you, but I love that you're going to go do what you believe that the Lord has called you into. And by the way, folks, oh my goodness, every field is a mission field.
Kids nowadays are under so much stress, the internet, things going on online, things at school. It's a different world from even when I was in school. And so I'm hoping to be a light and take what I've learned, working with the kids at Whispering Ponies Ranch and kind of apply that to my classroom where, you might have a kid who is a little bit tough and maybe they're disrespectful, maybe they don't listen, but there's probably something else going on behind the scenes. And I'm hoping to make a difference for kids like that.
I like that. I know. And then one of the things that I absolutely loathe when I hear the church just kind of treat it like there's the ministry and then there's everything else.
Right.
And like another thing, and I have complained about this so many times, but folks, you're going to hear me say it again. I don't even care if I'm on a loop at this point. There's this narrative. I don't know when it started, the 80s, the 90s, I don't know. But there's this narrative where you give your heart to the Lord and then you wait. And he calls you into ministry on that day. You went to the altar and he calls you into ministry and he makes it all clear. That's not biblical.
Right.
The minute that you give your heart over to the Lord, the world is your mission field.
Right.
Everything you do is ministry. When you view ministry in that platform, when you view it from that context, you start to understand that there is no such thing as, well, I can be a jerk to this guy. He doesn't go to my church. It's really not that big of a deal. He's just a jerk, and so I'm going to be a jerk back. And now I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to be, it's Sunday morning, and I'm going to praise the Lord. When you think that this is my ministry over here, this is what God has called me to do, and then this is the rest of my time, you separate it, and you act kind of differently towards your fellow man. When you practice constantly separating your ministry self from your non-ministry self, that's where you get into some deep waters where I often also say, yes, God is love. Everything about Christianity is love, but also part of love is helping people to understand and gently guide them toward recognizing the sin that condemns them.
And with teaching, I'm not going in there and I'm going to be preaching in front of my kids. That's inappropriate.
Right.
That's not my responsibility as a teacher to teach them about God in that way. But through my life and my actions and how I treat them, that's how people see God through you. Most of the time, you don't even need to verbally say, I am a Christian. They should know by how you treat them. And, kids are very smart. People think, oh, kids are just glued to their phone. They don't pay attention to nothing. They know how you treat them. They know how you really feel about them. Just being a positive influence in their life, too, is all that a lot of these kids really need. A lot of these kids might be living with grandma and grandpa. They might not have a close relationship with their parents. They might come from divorced families. They might come from a single mom. They might live with their siblings because their parents are on drugs. It's a crazy world out there. And especially the area we live in, there's a lot of poverty. Kids experience a lot of things that a lot of people think, no, kids in America don't experience that, where, they go home, they don't have dinner, they don't have clean clothes, they don't have nice shoes, they don't have internet at home to do their homework. So, maybe that's why they're failing. Maybe they're not lazy. They just don't have the resources. And so, I'm excited to go into this field. I feel like it's what I really need to do in this season of my life. And, it's like it's like some people leave a job and there's like, you don't like somebody or you don't like your boss or, there's like drama or things like that. That's not why I'm leaving whatsoever. I actually kind of always told Joe, like I'm going to be a teacher. He kind of always knew. And I pushed it off for a while too, just because whenever Tom passed away, I felt like I needed to step in and help a lot. And, we all kind of, pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. Let's get this situated. Let's get this figured out. But now I feel like it's a transition period and it's okay to leave now.
Yeah, we are definitely going to miss you. And you could totally come back.
Right.
You're welcome on this platform anytime.
Yeah.
I do want to, however, address a couple of different things that are coming up in the future of the Donna Howell Show. As I mentioned early on in this episode, I've never really been into the cameras are on me thing. Now, at Skywatch TV, on occasion, I'll bring, because I'll be, talking about a book I've just finished or whatever, and I am so passionate and everything in that moment is so clear in my head and I've got my notes in front of me. And so when I go there, I'll occasionally, a lot of it has to do with the 28-30 effect. Yeah. And so I'll explain that really quickly. 28 minutes and 30 seconds. That's the 28-30 effect. And that's how you cut for TV, for network television. And so the 28-30 effect, and you're on Skywatch panel with 6 people. And so you're only going to get a fraction of that. And everybody knows that if I've written a book, there's at least a 10-hour presentation based on everything I found.
And that's still just the Cliff Notes.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So, because I just go deep. I mean, I uncover every rock. Well, with that being said, I mean, some of these things, I have to talk fast and I have to hit it really hard. And so on Skywatch, a lot of people, they see me and I just preach, and they will tell me, oh my gosh, you need your own show. And then I got my own show, and then Dad died. Like everything we've just covered, it has been such a tumultuous transitional season of where am I? What in the world are we going to do next? I've got to carry this. I've had books that are due, all of these different things. All of a sudden, with everything that has lifted, I am feeling something stirring really deep. This is a soul stirring, and it's deep. And it's just for the first time starting to make it so those moments that people have seen where I preach it hard and fast on Skywatch and it is just boom and everybody's all excited, that's starting to be where I live. That's not the exception. That's starting to be the excitement that I feel. It's in my blood, my fingers are itching. I want to start getting in working. So I'm tying up a lot of loose ends right now. I've bought a camera. And that is already set up in my office at home. I'm trying right now. My husband is like, as soon as I leave from here, my husband and I will be working out how to work the mic so that it communicates with the camera and so on. So we're setting all of that still up. It is not going to replace this studio, but it will be supplemental. And here's what I mean by that. There have been moments where I'm at home and I'm just praying or reading the Bible or researching something. If that was set up, I would hit the record button so fast and I would just be bang, let's get to it. And that's what a lot of people, I think, sort of in the beginning expected from me. And that's where we were headed. That's what I had just started to feel was, okay, I'm getting comfortable behind the cameras. I'm getting comfortable on my own show. Then Dad died. And everything has just been on its head since. Yeah. But now I'm feeling that again. So folks, stick with me, because I do feel like a lot of what God has for me to say is about to explode. And I feel that really, really deeply. And I hate that it's right when you're leaving.
I think God, whenever things change, it's always for a reason. Nothing's coincidence, and I think that this is going to be an exciting finish to the year, and then 2026 will be a great year for everybody. Well, Donna, it's been a pleasure to be on the Donna Howell Show. And for everybody at home, if there's something you would like to do for me personally, and it's free, I'm not asking you to give me money or buy me things for my classroom, but I would really appreciate any prayers for me, for my school, for my kids, that I'm a good teacher to them, that I have a good relationship with them, their parents, and that it's an overall great experience. I want to go into it with that mindset of, these are going to be like my kids, like I'm going to have 6 classes of like 30 kids. So I'm going to be in charge of a lot of people, which is a little bit stressful. So just pray that I do a good job and that it's an overall great experience.
I think that we should be praying not only for everything that you just said, but that God would also continue to keep you strong in the moments where you're butting heads with the system. The system in the secular teaching sphere has gotten inflammatory from every aspect. And I don't think of a person more equipped to just walk in and punch that in the face just as fast as you can. I see that you will not be stopped or intimidated by that. But just strength for those moments when you're initially looking at it and going, okay, system says X, I need Y, what in the world? And so without going into detail, because, oh my goodness, it has gotten so bad.
I think that if you feel called to, you should still continue that calling, even if the world is against you. God never said, hey, you're going to get to go do this thing and it's going to be really easy. Why would he put you there then? If there wasn't a mission for you to accomplish, why would he send you there? So that's kind of my thing with it is like, yes, the public school has a lot of issues from all directions, but we still need people to go and be there for these kids.
I agree.
So I feel blessed to be able to go do that.
I agree. And folks, everything's a mission field. If you are in a job that the Christian church would call a secular job, it's not secular. Nothing is secular. The minute that you give your heart to the Lord, you are called into the mission field, and every step you take is being accounted for in the book of life, in the book of history. God has a consistent record of everything that we did while we were here. And we will stand accountable for the things that we did do and the things that we didn't do.
Right.
So if you have an opportunity like Brittney to take that into the next sphere of life, take it well. God bless you all. Thank you so much for all of your support for Brittney. Keep her in your prayers and don't go anywhere. We will be back next week with the Donna Howell Show.